Hello, welcome back to another lesson on ancient history by me, Ivy from EdEquity. Today we're going to be learning about ancient Mesopotamia. First, we're going to learn about the basics of Mesopotamia. Ancient Mesopotamia was one of the first places humans formed civilizations. For this reason, Mesopotamia is sometimes referred to as the cradle of civilization. There were huge cities, rich culture, and governments here in Mesopotamia. Now we're going to learn about the geography. The name Mesopotamia means the land between the rivers. If you look at the map from last page, you can see that Mesopotamia is located between the Tigris and Euphrates River. If Mesopotamia still existed, it would be roughly in Iraq. Now we're going to learn about farming. Since Mesopotamia is located between two calm rivers, this made it really easy to irrigate and also farm. This led to Mesopotamia having a surplus, which led to things such as job specialization. At the beginning, the people who settled in Mesopotamia built small villages and towns. However, once they started creating a larger surplus and developed new technologies, their towns grew into cities. Creation of a government and a writing system helped keep peace and order in the large cities, and this is how the first human civilization was formed. Now we're going to learn about the civilizations in Mesopotamia. The Sumerians were the first people to form a civilization. They had a system called city-states. Each city had their own government that was ruled by a king. The king and the government kept peace and order in the cities. Furthermore, the Sumerians also created inventions such as the wheel and writing. The Akkadians came after the Sumerians. They formed the first empire in the world. They were able to achieve this when all of the city-states were ruled by one person instead of many different kings. They also replaced the Sumerian language with their own Akkadian language. This would also be the language that would pretty much be used throughout the history of Mesopotamia. The Babylonians made Babylon the most powerful city in Mesopotamia. They also formed huge empires that ruled most of the Middle East. They were also the first to write down their law. Next is the Assyrian Empire. The Assyrians are from the northern part of Mesopotamia. They were a warrior society. Furthermore, they also wrote on clay tablets, which helped historians understand the history of Mesopotamia. Lastly, the Persians. The Persians ended the rule of both the Assyrians and the Babylonians. They also conquered most of Middle East, which included Mesopotamia. Now we're going to learn about the inventions of Mesopotamia. One of the most important inventions made by the people living in Mesopotamia was the invention of the writing by the Sumerians. From this invention came Hammurabi's Code, which was one of the first written law codes in the world, and the epic tale of Gilgamesh, which is a very known piece of literature. Next is the wheel. The oldest wheel in the world was found in Mesopotamia. The Sumerians also used the wheel for making their pottery and their chariots. Next is mathematics. The Mesopotamians used the number system. They also divided time by 60s, which is the same time system that we use today. They also divided the circle into 360 degrees. They were also able to do skills such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Moreover, they also had advanced formulas for figuring out the areas of different shapes. Next is astronomy. Mesopotamian astronomers were able to predict, follow, and write down the movement of planets, stars, and the moon. They used their knowledge of mathematics to help them with this. Using the knowledge of the moon, they created a calendar that had 12 months. If you are interested in astronomy, you can also check out our course on astronomy and cosmology by Pranav. Next is medicine. The Babylonians created several medicines. They were able to diagnose diseases and cured them with the medicinal creams and pills that they made. Now onto the Ziggurats. Ziggurats are located in the center of each major city in Mesopotamia. They were built to honor the main god of the city. They looked like step pyramids. Smaller ones might only have 1 or 2 steps, while the larger ones had up to 7 steps. They also would have reached a height of 300 meters. Priests in Mesopotamia would perform sacrifices and rituals at Ziggurats. At the top of Ziggurats would be a shrine that was dedicated to the city's god. The reason they built them really tall was because they wanted the shrine to be as close to heaven as possible. Now we're going to learn about the daily life in Mesopotamia. Society in Mesopotamia was divided into different classes of people. At the top of the society was the king and his family. Priests were also in the top class as well. The rest of the top class consists of the wealthy people. Below the top class was the middle class. It consisted of craftsmen, merchants, and civil servants. If they became rich enough, they were able to move up into the top social class. At the bottom of the society were the slaves. The slaves were often people who were captured in battles or wars. Now we're going to learn about the homes and buildings. The homes in Mesopotamia were often mud brick homes. They were rectangular and had around 2 or 3 floors. The roofs were flat, and people would sleep on them when the houses were very hot, such as during the summer. As the cities grew wealthy, people wanted to spend money and resources on entertainment. They enjoyed music, which was played from the drums, harps, flutes, and lyres. Sports such as boxing and wrestling were popular as well. Apart from that, they also enjoyed playing board games. The children would also have played with toys such as tops and jump ropes. Lastly, we're going to learn about the clothing. The clothing the Mesopotamians wore were mostly made out of sheepskin or wool. The men wore kilt-like skirts, and the women often wore long dresses. Wearing jewelry was very popular. Both men and women had long hair. However, the women would often weave theirs into braids. Both of the genders also wore makeup. That's it for our lesson today. I hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed it. If you want, you can also check out the worksheet that would be linked in the website. That's it for today. Bye!